Good afternoon. Welcome to the Board of Selectmen meeting for Monday, September 9th.
Afternoon, huh? Wow.
It is afternoon.
Just trying to get you back into
Still
bed
very
early,
bright out
Dave.
Yeah, I know. God.
Want to keep you
Times
out
they
too
can
late.
talk these
you
days.
know?
6.
All right, Ms. Clerk, you want to take us through our agenda this afternoon?
Yes. Following the Pledge of Allegiance, we have open forum, followed by an appointment with our newly appointed Veterans Agent, Christopher Buckley, followed by some action items.
All right, thank you. Join me
Introduction
in
of our
the,
new town administrator.
in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Buckley, if you want to...
Open
Oh,
forum.
actually, is anyone here for open forum? Sorry. Seeing no one? Oh, Chief, you want to come up for a few?
We can. Sorry to interrupt your
Sorry.
agenda. I have with me Susan Silva, who you're all familiar with from
Hi.
Hope, PCO Hope. And welcome to our new town administrator, Brian Noel. Susan's been a leader not only in this town but across the county. She's really what spurred the movement with the opioid crisis here, going back to 2012 with our local coalition, which is what brings me here tonight. Over the past several years, East Bridgewater, we've been very proactive, obviously, on the opioid crisis. As we've been so proactive, even with that said, we still have a lot of work to do. And one of the initiatives that spurred not only from the state level at Department of Public Health, but from our federal partners at the Health and Human Services, is getting Narcan into publicly available locations in persons. Narcan saves lives. In East Bridgewater, and just real quick, over the last 4 years, we've had 96 Narcan saves in this community. That means if Narcan were not available, 96 people potentially could have died. In that same time period, we have had 16 fatalities in this town in the past 4 years. You know, the positive news is that we're trending in the right direction right now. The piece that we still have work to do is that we still have far too many overdoses happening. One of the things that we've started in July with EB Hope secured funding from the Department of Public Health and secured what are called nalox boxes. And what these are is very similar to an AED that you have stationed all throughout communities, sports fields. It is an opioid rescue kit. In it, it contains Narcan, it contains a breathing mask, and it contains instructions on how to not only deploy Narcan in an emergency, but also how to do the rescue breaths. Ventilations are a key piece to reversing an opioid overdose with Narcan. Susan, do you want to just talk about how we secured that funding?
So the last 2 years, we have been very blessed by the DPH to receive $30,000 in earmark funding for the work that we do both here in East Bridgewater and the drop-in centers. So each year, we've given basically a third of that back to the community here in East Bridgewater, where a portion goes to the police department, a portion goes to the Council on Aging, and then a portion goes to the school to do some sort of preventative or interventive work. So this year, I had seen these in an article, and I sent it over to the chief, and I said, what about this year for the police department? And he jumped right on it and made the purchases, and you know, we've already got them.
Three at three locations, businesses in town. You know, Bridgewater State University 2 years ago, they now have 56 locations. Every AED station on campus at Bridgewater State has a similar opioid rescue kit here. You know, one of the perception issues that we have in the community is people think, oh, this is an enabler, or this somehow is a negative connotation by having these somewhere. This is a positive, and Fred Clark, the president of Bridgewater State, said it best. This saves lives. You know, it's innovative. It's bringing to, you know, really the stigma piece that we all deal with in the opioid crisis. This really says that, you know, we may not need this in this building, but because we have in this building, we recognize that it's still a problem. Someone might walk by that and see that and say, geez, you know what, I think I'm going to get help today. It may not be needed to reverse an opioid overdose, but just having that piece, you know, having that available might be it sends the right message in my view, and I think across the board. Department of Public Health is promoting these. I work very closely with Dr. Alexander Wally from Boston Medical Center and BU School of Medicine. and he's really, hoping that we can pilot this and extend it throughout our community and other communities. Brockton District Court Judge Vitale just called last week, is looking to see how he can promote that in the city of Brockton. One of the goals of Dr. Wally from Boston Medical Center is they secured $350 million across the country to 4 pilot states, in Massachusetts one of them. And one of their goals is to reduce the opioid deaths and overdoses by 40% over the next 3 years. For us right now, that would 40% reduction in our non-fatals would only get us down to 17 from 28. It would get us from 4 deaths a year to 2. So again, as great a job as this whole team is doing, we do have work still left to be done. And I'm just hoping that one of the things that we could do is to put these Nalox boxes and start putting them in some publicly available, our public buildings alongside the AED. And really, if you look at it, it looks like an AED kit. And again, it doesn't say that there's someone in here that needs it, but it could be someone out in the street, or it could be someone just, walking through town, or it could be the training that we do with all employees, that in their private life, they come across someone that's overdosing and needs to deploy Narcan, and they'll have that training, just like they have CPR training. So again, I look at it as a win across the board, sending the right message to our community about the stigma that's still so strong with opioid use disorder.
Any questions?
Yeah, no, I think it's great, and I especially appreciate the idea of pairing it with the AED. And I think I talked to the chief last week, and I said, we so accept that we would help someone that had a heart attack, and we wouldn't say, oh, we're not going to. You had too many cheeseburgers in your life, and you deserve that heart attack, so we're not going to help you. We wouldn't do that. And I think we have to start looking at this in that same way and say, of course we're going to help you. You don't know which time is the time that somebody is going to get help and decide that then they want to make that help a permanent thing. And who are we to say, no, you don't deserve another chance. So I think it's a great program.
Again, with my, working with EB Hope over the last 4 or 5 years, anything we can do here to support what we're trying to do here. And, during our lifetime, we're not going to conquer this epidemic, but we can put a dent in it if we start doing things like this, a small step at a time, and then move along. The thing I'd like to do is I'd like to add the housing authority to this list.
Sure, yeah, great idea.
Okay, again, I think you indicated we've had someone 66.
Recently, I know, not specifically in East Bridgewater, but one of the neighboring towns, we had a 66-year-old person that passed away from an overdose.
Right.
And I will say, last year at the Council on Aging event, they had the Improbable Players and had a dinner for that cohort of people, and it sparked an amazing amount of conversation among that group. They openly admitted that they know that their peers are struggling with this. So this isn't just a teenage, early 20s, early 30s problem. It was quite eye-opening to hear them, that they know that they've got peers who are over-medicated by doctors, and that this potentially could save some lives right here in our own community. So that was really quite amazing to hear them open up and talk about it. And the Improbable Players are going to be visiting with them again on September 30th. So really looking forward to that event as well.
Just quickly, Chief, right now we have these in the 2 vape shops in town, plus the Hilo gas
Hilo gas station is also one of those locations, and we're hoping to expand it with some of the business community members.
Have we contacted the Y on this yet?
We have actually Sergeant Patterson here, who's been our key leader on our outreach initiatives. I know we have a list. Have we reached out to the Y?
I dealt with the Y, but there's some other businesses that are contemplating. They're reviewing it with staff members or senior officials in their businesses, and I'm waiting to hear back from them.
Part of what we'll do is we do overdose net recognition training with all the employees, management. We'll also give them CPR, training on CPR and rescue breathing, in addition to deploying Narcan.
We were able to purchase 12 with last year's funding, and we're hoping to, if the need arises and there are businesses and the public buildings would like them and we need more, we hope to purchase more this year.
Hopefully we won't need them in some of the town buildings, and but
Hopefully we'll never need them, at least they'll be here.
Yeah, at least they're here. So, all right, you guys want to vote on this now, or wait till we do the other action items?
Let's take it out of order, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to move to approve the install of locks and boxes in some of our town buildings, which include the Town Hall, Public Library, Community Center, schools, DPW facilities, and the Housing Authority.
Second.
All right, any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, great.
Thank you,
Thank you.
folks.
For your time.
Appreciate it.
Welcome, Mr. Noble.
Nice to see you again.
All right, Mr. Buckley, sorry. Come on up.
How's everybody doing tonight?
Good, how you doing?
Good.
It's afternoon, just clarifying.
Chris Buckley,
You're here
Veteran
till
Service
late.
Officer for the town. So as I've provided you my report over the last month, I got with Mr. Sheedy, and we've been putting together a veterans list, and I've sent out 50 letters, and I've either had the return letters to me, emails, calls, walk-ins of 21 of those 50, and I've approximately spoke with or had contact with 200 veterans since I took over in the late July. So that's working real well. I've teamed up with the COA, the library, and EBTV to reach as many people as I can in the town. We're doing a monthly engagement with all 3 facilities, and that's been working well. And then we have currently 18 clients under the Chapter 115 benefit. We've processed 2 months of benefits now, and things have been going well. Possibly 2 or 3 applicants in the next month, depending on how things go with that. And one thing I also did with the clients is I moved their pay up a week. What was happening is they're getting their checks the end of the 3rd week. Most of their money, most of all their finances are coming in on the 1st. So there was some hardship between the 1st and that 3rd Thursday. So now we're moving it up to the 2nd week. So therefore, they're getting their checks by the 15th. So it's more of they're more on a 1st to the 15th. They're having, they've got some money. They don't have to cut corners. And it's been received really well.
Oh, that's great.
Chris, could you just take a couple of seconds before you move on to explain what Chapter 115 is for those that may not know?
Yes, Chapter 115 is a means-based testing and income assistance. And we have, it's a statewide program. It mandates that every town has a position like mine, and that the town provides this benefit. The way the allocation works is the monthly benefit that the town kicks out, 75% of that is returned from the state, and the town fits the bill for 25% of it. It's like I said, as I was saying earlier, it's a means test. So just because they make a certain amount, depending on their disability, depending on their situation, we put everything into a calculation, and if their rent, their medical, and everything adds up to a certain amount, then there is a reimbursement to them. And then also we provide reimbursements on doctor visits, dental visits, and co-pays on prescriptions as well for the clients that qualify for the program.
This is including veterans and spouses.
Yes, veterans and spouses. As a matter of fact, I've got 3 widows on my client list right now, and they are the most accurate. The first 2 months I've been here, as soon as I ask for it, it shows up in the office. So.
Great.
Great.
Next, passports has been going well, extremely well. 21 so far. I actually have another one at 6 o'clock this afternoon. That has been going like I said, well. All passports are mailed out that same day, except for passports that are taken after 4 o'clock. They're taken after 4 o'clock. They will go out with the next day's mail. I've spoke with the passport agency in Boston, and that's how they prefer to do it. And everything they've provided me training-wise, whether it's their customer service number or the documents, everything's a well-oiled machine on that side. And then some of the key events I've participated in. I had a meet and greet at the library on the 12th of August. That went well. Great staff there. Looking forward to working with them. The veterans group, we had 5 vets show up, and we were able to, instead of just they ask me questions, I answer, there was a lot of collaborating, a lot of vets talking with vets, getting them talking to other people than just me, and, kind of building that camaraderie between, everybody who congregates down at the COA. The first episode of EBVSO Corner is worked well. I appreciate Russ and his team have been great. The main thing I will be doing with that is what the veterans want, and what right now the feedback I'm getting is they want updates. When has the VA changed their policy on eligibility? Where can I get a veterans card? That sort of thing. And then I'll also be updating them on different events that are going around town. Later on this month, there's a rolling Vietnam Wall memorial that will be in Attleboro. I'll be assisting with that. We'll also do a little piece on that as far as just keeping them up to date on the different events that they want to know about.
You'll be doing a little networking so we can get that roving in East Bridgewater?
Yes, Ken, the VSO in Attleboro, I spoke with him last week at our conference, and I did let him know that was something that we were interested in, and look forward to putting that together. And one of the things I'll be doing is helping him with check-in, helping him with setting it up, and pretty much, just being his right-hand man if he needs something. So therefore, when it comes to our town, it'll be an easy transition. The Patriotic Committee has been great. We have 4 new flags out of the town hall. The first time I had to lower the flags, there was a couple holes in the American flag, and I emailed them, and within a day, 4 new flags went up. So that's that was a very, very positive thing. And then also enjoyed myself last week at the COA Salt Barbecue. That was exciting, and look forward to collaborating with Sue and the team and everybody over there as well. Training that I have been conducting since I came on. MRO training is military records training. So if somebody comes in to my office and they're looking for their next of kin or for themselves, they need military records, whether it's a discharge paper, whether it's medical paperwork. The MRO office up in Milford tracks everybody who has come in to the military through the state of Massachusetts, and then whatever has been added on since then. One of the things I was working on with them, and they were very quick turnaround, is I explained to them I would like a list of veterans from World War II on. And I asked them, if there's any information they needed, and within 30 minutes they turned around, and now I have a list of every veteran who either came home or left in World War II, all the way up to the present conflicts that we deal with today. And then the passport training went really well, and like I said, everything's going well there. The Chapter 115, something that my predecessor brought up to me, they didn't used to do, but they do now. Evan, the chief coordinator there, scheduled an on-site visit with one of the authorizers, and she came in for 5 hours, and she said, just pick my brain. Let me know what you need to know. I'll let you know what we're looking for, and pretty much how to put an application together and run it through the system. That went very well. And then that has also helped because one of our town residents here, Tom Benvey, is now the new Holbrook VSO. So he's been coming to my office for about 30 minutes every week, just touching base with me, asking him questions, because he's even newer than I am, and he doesn't have any of the intern experience. So setting him up with the same type of training in Holbrook, and just mainly because vets take care of vets, and he's an East Bridgewater veteran, so I want to make sure we set him up for success. Right. Future things, I will be at the 9/11 Memorial Ceremony on Wednesday, along with a meet and greet at the COA from 10 to noon. I've also scheduled my next update, or my next episode with EBTV. We have the World War I photo in my office. I'll be doing a presentation on that, and looking forward to displaying that to the town. And that's something the town should be very proud of, and like I said, we'll put it in the right spot. Then I've already spoke on the rolling rally, and the last 2 things I have are, I've spoke with a lot of VSOs around, VSOs that have a few veterans, VSOs that are in larger communities, similar communities to myself, and the state has a program, Vetrospect, where it's an online base. The veteran comes in, gives you their information the very first time, does one signature, and now you're done you're done with your data input for that veteran. You'll have to answer the specific questions, but as far as his or her general information, it's now in the system. And then I can also track it. There is visibility on the VA side and on my side of it. So if a veteran calls, the time of, oh, well, let me email Boston or let me email the federal side and see where it is, I can go in there, look it up myself, and provide them with an update. So it would save me tremendous amount of time on the front end, putting everything, because putting a claim in right now is a solid hour and a half, depending on the vet story. This would cut a good 15 to 20 minutes of it off, and we could get everything done with it well within an hour.
Yeah, definitely sounds
Yeah,
worth doing.
definitely.
And like I said, I'll be getting more information on that soon, but I just wanted to let you know something that definitely would be a value add for my office. And the last thing is the VA Work Study Program. I cut my teeth with this program, and I see ways where this program can help us out in the town of East Bridgewater. One is mainly whether I'm at training, whether I'm at lunch, looking to have my office covered 100% of the time while the town hall's open. The one thing I really don't like when I step out is, if the time I'm out, the vet's gonna come to the door, and if, some veterans, they see the door, well, they're gonna go somewhere else. They're not gonna bother leaving a note or anything like that. And then on the other side of it, it would be helping out another veteran, and this way I can mentor them in the system like I was mentored, and then that'll help the veteran and myself in my position.
Great.
Yeah, sounds good.
Any questions?
Great job.
Chris, is there a, like for me as a library director, we have, regional meetings with other librarians, Council on Aging, we have regional meetings. Is there something set up like that for VSOs where you guys get together and talk
Yes.
about best practices and things?
We just had our annual business meeting in Plymouth, and it's the MVSOA is the Massachusetts Veteran Service Officer Association, and then also our chapter is the southern chapter of that. One of the things I'll be looking to do in the next calendar year is have that association meeting here in
Terrific.
town, and bring them into town and show them how we do things here.
Excellent, I
And
love that.
That's definitely something, that group has been great. I met a guy from Quincy last Wednesday, and he told me, hey, I'm real good with the VA, I've been doing this 20 years. Sure enough, I called him Thursday morning. This is what you need to do, this is how you do it. I mean, that's the type of resources and networking that
Right.
organization provides.
Good, thank you.
Now, with Vetrospect, do the veterans have the ability to log in themselves to see where they are in the process?
That is a veteran service officer.
Strictly on your end. Okay.
For that in the state. And then, thanks for asking the question. I wanted to piggyback on top of that. The state is looking to certify us to federally do claims as well. And if that's the case, here in the next 1 to 2 years, that system will, like I said, save us a lot of time, because then I'll be certified. I won't have to go to Boston. I won't have to reach out. I'll just be able to file it myself, keep track of it, and then cutting more people out of the process.
Sounds great.
Yeah, I appreciate your efforts trying to get out there and get these vets the benefits they deserve. You're doing a great job, thank you.
I appreciate it. Anything else?
Good.
Have a good night.
Thanks, Chris.
Thanks. All right, well, that's it for appointments, and we'll go right into action items now.
Mr. Chairman, I move to approve the minutes of the August 26, 2019, 6:30 PM Board of Selectmen's meeting.
Second.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to approve the signage request form and policy.
Second.
Any further discussion? I know we talked about this last week. Any adjustments, changes anyone wants to
looks
make?
good.
Everything's good the way it is.
Yeah,
And
okay.
if not, then we can adjust it as we
Yeah.
move along.
Sounds
But
good.
it's a
And there may
starting
be
place.
specific, changes that people request for a certain event, we'll
Yeah.
deal with it then.
Yeah.
Yeah. 'Cause it seems like lately we're seeing a lot more of those cardboard signs popping up at different spots all over on town property, so, all right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Mr. Chairman, I move to approve the request of Alan Hiltz, CERT, Community Emergency Response Team, for the use of the town common and town hall parking lot on October 5th, 2019, from 10 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. for a training exercise. CERT would also like to request participation from East Bridgewater residents.
Second.
Any further discussion?
No, for anyone that doesn't know, CERT, helps covering on parades and when we have to open up town hall or the community center for weather conditions, stuff like that. It's a CERT response team that covers them. They've been in here a few times, and it's a small group, and they do an excellent job. They're always looking for new members.
So if you have time that day, please come volunteer and help them out with their training. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Mr. Chairman, I move to approve the request of Robert DeFazio to install a flagpole with solar lighting installed at the town's 9/11 memorial.
Second.
Any further discussion?
And I hope we approve this because the flagpole is up.
I was gonna say, it's up and being dedicated tomorrow.
No, but thank you to Bob DeFazio for setting that up. It's nice to have the flag over there by that memorial.
And thanks to DPW, as their usual, being right on time, getting everything ready. We're getting used to it, John. Don't change.
All in favor?
Aye.
Mr. Chairman, I move to approve the request of Republican Town Committee to appoint David L. Walsh to fill a vacancy on the Register of Voters, September 9th, 2019 to June 30th, 2021.
Second.
Any further discussion? Are we sure we want Walsh back?
It's your call, Mr.
All
Chairman.
right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Mr. Chairman, I move to approve Joel Thomas as constable, effective September 9th, 2019 to June 30th, 2022.
Second.
Any further discussion?
All those in favor, go ahead.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, thank you.
I noticed John Haynes came in. Are you,
Yeah, if you just have one moment.
Oh, yeah, come on up.
we're talking about how Route 18 is going to be a disaster for the next
Yes.
12 years.
Apologize, I had an appointment, I couldn't get here for open forum, but I just wanted to bring the board and the residents up to date on a couple upcoming projects. One specific upcoming project that will be beginning tomorrow. So a lot of heads up again. But Columbia Gas has been discussing a project. It's in the Route 18 corridor. It's not actually a town project per se. It's falls within the jurisdiction of Mass DOT along Route 18, but obviously it'll have impact to the motoring traffic and the residents of East Bridgewater. It's a replacement of the existing gas main with a new 6-inch gas main that'll run from Spring Street intersection for about 6,600 feet up through to East Street. There'll be 3 essential phases to it. The first phase will begin tomorrow with mobilization. Excavation will start Thursday, Friday of this week. The second phase will actually be done, 2 of the 3 phases are actually going to be completed at night just due to the traffic volume on Route 18. That's slated to start the 22nd of September, and they'll be working, beginning at Spring Street, working down through our kind of commercial district past Abbey Lane. That work will all be done at night. The work from Abbey Lane back to approximately Sunny Lane Lumber, that area, if people are familiar with it. That work is wide enough in that area to be able to just make 2 corridors. They've had a traffic management plan that's been approved by the police department. There'll be obviously a number of police officers out there to help. And then the final phase will be from Whitman Street, going back up the street, up over the bridge, up into the intersection of 106. And that, again, that'll be night work. In reality, it's unlikely that they'll get to that portion during this construction season, so that will roll over into next year's construction season. That project is the is a pre-project to the major project that we've been talking about for a number of years now, 7, I believe, since the new high school was constructed. The late Senator Kennedy, Tom Kennedy, moved legislation and earmarked some funds to redo the Route 18 corridor, recognizing the sidewalks are in dilapidated condition, and at this point, sidewalks only exist on one side of the street. As these projects do over time, the scope of that project has increased significantly to now it's essentially a full reconstruction of the portion, again, of Route 18 from Spring Street to the Joppa Market 106 intersection. That project is currently out for bid, so it's good that it was moved along, so it's programmed for FY20. It's slated as approximately an $8 million reconstruction project that will address existing drainage issues, right-of-way concerns, create sidewalks on both sides of Route 18 for that entire corridor, as well as eventual resurfacing of the roadway. So it will really, again, all of these things are sort of coming along, tying into not only infrastructure upgrades, but also our hopes for, you know, some downtown economic upgrades that'll obviously have a significant impact on that corridor and the aesthetic value and such. So, but as one of a good friend of mine says often, you have to break a few eggs to make an omelet. So this project will obviously cause some impact to traffic and residential traffic and vehicular, you know, pass-through traffic for the next few years. It's slated to be a relatively long-term project.
So
again,
by the time Boston Gas is done, then the state will be coming in?
I would anticipate.
Much right after?
Right, I'd anticipate again, the project went out to bid on August 24th. Bids will be open November 26th. At that point, that's really the end of the construction season. And there's so much paperwork, bond requirements, things like that, that'll have to be done in the interim. So before, I wouldn't anticipate to see any mobilization or construction on the actual Route 18 reconstruction per Mass DOT until mid to late spring of 2020. But then that's slated to be a multi-year reconstruction project. Somewhat like we've seen in other sections of Route 18.
Yeah.
Again, no actual widening to the street. The lane width and things will stay the same, but the addition of the new sidewalks, wider shoulders, things like that, pedestrian traffic, it, again, will multimodal transit, you know, allow for pedestrian, bicycle, traffic, car, vehicular, so.
And just to clarify, it doesn't include the lights in the center of town or the lights up at,
Of course not.
No.
stops a few feet right in between, right?
No, both myself as a representative for East Bridgewater and our representatives from the Old Colony Planning Council proposed that to the Mass DOT, but it was not in their scope of work at this time.
Great.
But again, just so people are aware, neither project are actual DPW or town projects, but obviously will have significant impact. We'll try to keep residents aware to the best extent we can as we get information. We'll, on the website and with different press releases and things like that as information is passed along to us. But
We look forward to in-person updates.
you may get a few. You may have a few.
Because we will be getting the phone calls.
Yes, we will.
Thank you.
All right,
All right, thanks, John.
Thanks, John.
All right. And Mr. Noble, welcome.
Thank you.
How was your first day?
It was a very busy day.
He's still here.
Yeah. Well, you were guarding one door, I was guarding the other door.
I was very pleased, very welcoming environment. Got cupcakes delivered to the office today as a welcoming present. So that was we made quick work of them. It was a great time. Met with several department heads today. Have another day of meetings tomorrow to work into it. I found nothing that alarms me. You'll be pleased to know.
That's
So,
good to hear.
everything looks good, and I'm excited to be here. Thank you.
Great, welcome. Look forward to working with you.
We're glad you're here.
Anything for announcements or?
I have a couple upcoming town events. Saturday, September 14th, the East Bridgewater Business Association will be holding their Business Expo on the Town Common, 10 to 2. Rain date will be Sunday, September 15th. That evening, same location on the Town Common, EB Hope will hold their awareness vigil. What exactly?
It's a candlelight
Oh, that
vigil.
candlelight vigil on the Common, so September 14th, from 4 to 10. Saturday, September 21st, East Bridgewater Harvest Fest at Sachem Rock, 1 to 3. Rain date Sunday, September 22nd. Saturday, September 21st, there will be a 5K in East Bridgewater to benefit the Standish Humane Society from 7 a.m. to 11 a.m. And around Halloween time, September 27th through November 9th, a historic ghost tour of East Bridgewater Village, Fridays and Saturday evenings, Town Hall parking lot.
Great. Pretty much get out there now before winter comes.
That's it for me.
All right, anything for board discussions?
No, I don't have anything.
I was just looking at the calendar. Halloween is on a Thursday night this year. Do we ever give consideration of asking the residents to move that to a Friday or Saturday? And
I know some towns have done that.
Yeah.
Oh, does anybody around us do that?
I've never
I
heard.
don't know. I know I've heard of it. I just,
Yeah,
I don't
and I
think
know
we've
the
ever
church-
talked about it.
Community Covenant Church on Pleasant Street, they're doing a trunk or treat, I think, the Sunday before.
Mhm. I mean,
Just a thought.
Yeah, I mean, as a parent, I know it would be easier to just do it on a Friday or Saturday night, you
Yeah.
know? I mean,
Why don't we
that's
talk
something
about it and
Yeah.
we'll bring it up again next meeting.
All right, great. And just remind folks, 9/11 Memorial tomorrow.
Wednesday.
Or Wednesday, 8:45, so great to see everyone there. So, all right, so with that, motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.